Hi guys, this is Massa from the Great White North. So today we have a new interview for a project called Omni TCG. And I'm very honored to have our guest Connor and Jacob. Hi guys.
Hey,
Hello.
how's it going?
Good, good. I'm very happy to have you here. Can you please quickly introduce yourself?
Well, I'm Connor. I'm one of the founders of Omni.
Hi, I'm Jacob. I am the other co-owner of Omni and Seven Dwarves.
Welcome to the realm of Omni. This trading card game is a fast-paced strategy game focused on ascending souls crafted from your gate crystals by combining them with quirks. There are several different kinds of souls that have different requirements to ascend into entities who are stronger and provide you with new abilities to give you that edge to win. Within Omni, a realm of constant flux, there stand massive relics of unknown origins. These monoliths, the gate crystals, are the source of all existence in Omni. From them, souls manifest and engage in battle for complete omnipotence. Enhance your souls with quirks which provide unique abilities and allow them to ascend into entities of considerable power. Change the tides of battle with events that become reality through the magic of these crystals. Be wary, when one of these great monoliths shatters and falls upon itself, the gate of creation closes with it. Wage war against other crystal wielders. Use your mighty gate crystals and their adaptable creations to claim Omni for your own. This indicates what attribute the card is, and the color indicates type of card. This indicates the card type. This is where you find the card name. This is the artwork for the card. This is the section indicating the evo val of the card, and the color indicates type of card. This indicates the armor of the card, or in quirks, the applied bonus or reduction. This indicates the health of the card, or in quirks, the applied bonus or reduction. This indicates the strength of the card, or in quirks, the applied bonus or reduction. This is the informational text space, first shown if it is a clutch card, instant, permanent, or power play. Next will show if the card has a spawn requirement. Finally, the remainder of the text box shows abilities or effects the card applies. On souls, this also shows the ascension requirements and slot limit for the soul. This shows Seven Dwarves LLC, game publisher and developer. This indicates the card number in the series. This shows artist name. First is the draw stage, followed by the application of any passive or enabled effects. After the effects are completed, players can ascend their soul if able before the play of any cards. Next, the player indicates their engagement of existence's attacks, and upon completion ends their turn. The player indicates each existence they control that can attack a target. Apply any and all damage that is applied, whether it being standard, which is strength delta armor, and if it exceeds remaining armor, then health. Area, which deals damage to the target and its adjacent existence. Burn, which is applied on the following turn. Thorn, which reflects damage from the target back to its attacker. Or Piercing, which is damage dealt straight to the crystal. Gameplay begins by shuffling your standard decks, choosing your soul, and then rolling a die to determine who goes first. Each player begins with one crystal and one soul on the board, as well as 3 cards in hand. First player does not draw to start the game, and neither player may attack on their first turn, unless a card is played stating otherwise. Omni has a multitude of different cards that makes every game unique, ranging from existences of different elements, to guardians that protect your crystals, and quirks and events that help shape the deck. There's so many combinations that power your game. Are you prepared to claim Omni for yourself?
So I have tons of questions, and some are nice, some are not nice. But first, some nice one. So, like in a nutshell, can you explain what Omni TCG is?
So Omni TCG originated as a video game idea. Basically, a game I had been working on for probably a year with some buddies in college. The idea behind it was going to be a completely online dedicated game where you would create your character, you would input some personal questions, and an avatar would be created for you that would be pretty personalized, and it would be a soul. When you go throughout the game, you're locating different pieces of essence that have attributes. So if you found like a fire um, piece that you could then incorporate into your character, and it would take on a new form and you would just slowly evolve. That was the
I see.
general idea behind it. Yeah. And then you would play against other players, taking pieces from each other and building upon yourself until you got to a certain threshold that you would then ascend into an entity that would be pretty unique as well, based off of all the characteristics you initially put in and all of the attributes you've acquired throughout gameplay. Obviously, that game was way too ambitious and it never got anywhere. A lot of ideas got thrown into it, and I continued to work on that for at least another couple years until I found a Team APS video. These guys open cards, play Yu-Gi-Oh, do all sorts of things, and they actually got talking about how interesting it would be if Yu-Gi-Oh did deck masters, and I thought that was kind of a really cool idea, and I tried to adapt it into a game, which then became Omni.
I
Um,
see.
yeah, I had no idea of the sheer scope, and the mechanics were really wonky. For an example, when I first created it, I was talking with Jacob, I was talking with a couple other people, and it was originally just going to be 3 entities. So you would have your first, second, and third entity. There was no Crystal Guardian.
This is a playmat, right, with a different zone. The first thing that jumped to my mind is like, wow, that looks so complicated. Why there are so many zones? But now I kind of understand because in your mind, like at its birth, it was a video game where you were mentioning you kind of customize your own avatar, and we see that in Flesh and Blood. You have your 4 pieces of equipment, you have your character, your weapon, and I guess that's why you end up with so many zones. This is not like Yu-Gi-Oh where you have zone for traps or magic. This is more like you kind of build yourself during the game, and you try to make the opponent not build itself so well. So this is yeah, okay, so that makes sense. It's kind of it looked to me like kind of a different piece of puzzles and like leveling up. Who are you? Like, who would be your avatar? Is that the guardian? Is that the crystal?
And so the player themselves is the crystals. So that would be your C1, C2, and C3. And you are what brings forth life and these souls. So they are there to protect you from being destroyed by your opponent because there's only so much energy in this realm, and the crystals tap into this energy, and this energy they use to create life.
Oh, I see. So you are the crystal.
Yes.
Correct.
So it's a bit like a tower defense. I forgot how it's called. Game. You have to protect your crystal. Okay. All right. Okay. We can talk more about the gameplay better, but I think that's kind of a good definition of this game. Is like you have your crystal and you build up kind of your small army and with out of souls, and you don't try to defeat your opponent, especially you try to evolve before he evolved. And I think this is neat because I'm kind of very bored in all those games who say it's a 1 versus 1 game where you try to beat your opponent. Like I don't want, if I make a game myself, I don't want to kill the opponent. I play Magic if I want to kill the opponent, or there are billions of games. So I do like the idea of like you try to raise your opponent to do something, or you know, that's why also I like solo games. I don't think this game is very good for solo, but there are a lot of good how it's called living card games that are excellent for solo game, and I really love that. Well, I'm going to move to my next question is, what motivated you? Are you masochist? I mean, why did you try to do that? Like, what's the thought process behind that?
The real point was we made Seven Dwarves because for a few reasons. We love making games. That's something we went to college for together. We bonded over that in college. Jacob actually tutored me throughout a lot of my 3D modeling experience. We were going to be video game designers, and our paths led down different roads to where we were more comfortable working on tabletop games. And that was something that I knew Jacob had wanted to do. And when the idea for Omni came to me, that's when I approached him about Seven Dwarves. And I've always been a very ambitious person. I've wanted, since I can remember, to have an impact on the world, no matter how small. And if that means that people are able to play a game that we made together and enjoy it, that's pretty much all that matters to us at this point. If we would love to make a profit, obviously, if we could do this full time, I mean, who wouldn't? But
Yeah.
but the reality is we don't have the team right now or the money to invest in become full time right now.
No,
That's
man,
just
it's almost impossible, because when you think about the cost of production, especially until you kind of really scale up, which I will be honest with you, I don't think there will be. I don't think your company will reach a size where you sell millions of boxes per month. You know, I mean, let's be realistic. And the margin you make, let's say you go to actual shops and stuff like that. On a box, you will make what, $5, $10 at most. To actually pay even a team of 5 people with that, you would have to sell a lot of bugs. It just doesn't work, you know. So I think it's just good that you are aware that it's not for the money. I think it's a very good motivation. Yeah, it's kind of letting being part of something that affects society. That you know, it's actually much better than money. You know, just knowing that you did something that can bring joy to even a small community. You did something useful for somebody else than yourself. I think that's a very good motivation. So I do like this answer and get my thumbs up. Can you talk about the law a bit? You know?
All right, so the crystals are originated as the gods of this realm, and they were being consumed by the unlit. And in order to preserve themselves, they actually shrunk themselves into a condensed crystal, which was a protective barrier that the unlit couldn't get through. And so by doing so, they not only did they protect themselves, but they also weakened themselves because they no longer were gods among the realm, but a motionless crystal that was full of energy.
And so what about those souls? Because I understand it's very important.
basically the crystals harness the power or essence within the realm to create the souls that would then serve them as their servants, in terms of in terms of battle as well.
All right. What are those
And
guys, like those entities?
so entities are a ascended soul. So when a soul gains abilities that the crystal provides, these we call them quirks, they begin to gain essence and extra power that will allow them to ascend or evolve into entities, creatures of greater being.
Why are we fighting?
So the origins of the universe basically is the realm of Omni was completely black before the entrance of the progenitors. The progenitors tore open the fabric of reality and entered into the realm. And by doing so, they introduced all manners of creation, which completely disrupts the the realm as it was to the unlit. The unlit loves and revels in darkness and nothingness. Now there is an absence of that, and it upsets them. They come after the progenitors in force, and while this is happening, um, the progenitors initially came into the realm just to create it and to be masters of it. This is a whole nother thing from the unlit, where the progenitors are trying to vie for control of the realm, and then the unlit come and threaten everybody. So the unlit is the universal enemy, but the progenitors, the gods of the world, or the crystals now, were fighting amongst themselves from the beginning to control the realm, if
I
that
see.
makes sense.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Okay, cool.
I mean, anyway, it doesn't need to be. When Magic was released, I remember it was like be the strongest sorcerer and summon monster to defeat your opponent. It doesn't mean to be super evolved, but it's good to be anchored in one story so that things are coherent. I think it's the main idea, like so that we don't have like rabbit with a jetpack. I think it's important to anchor the story inside something.
Oh, I agree.
All right, so now I have some nasty question. That's a nasty question part, and then we will have nicer questions. The nasty question part is mainly,
Okay.
a Kickstarter is a crowdfunding system where you're asking people to give you money, right, to achieve a project, and in exchange, those backers are expecting to receive reward. And in that case, we can look at it after, but there are some starter decks, some booster box, and stuff like that. Like we talked about it before, you had a campaign around April or May. I can show it here. You actually went through. I mean, it was canceled near the end, right? If I remember.
Yeah, it was like a couple weeks left, I think.
Yeah, it was a very long one, and
It was.
it didn't really go up, and so we talked about it. We said like the campaign was a bit rushed. What did you learn from this campaign, and what else do you think caused it to kind of fail?
So going into the Kickstarter, we did a lot of research, and um, basically, I mean, every day, at least minimally, I was spending at least 2 hours a day researching for about 2 months up to the Kickstarter. Um, what I think happened was I wasn't really getting in touch with the right people. Not only that, but the TCG space was so much bigger than I could have imagined, and I didn't understand the necessities of certain networks
Mm-hmm.
for which to A, promote, B, to build that relationship with people leading up to the Kickstarter. So we did advertise, we did spend a lot in terms of uh, money and time and effort into building that campaign. I don't think anybody denies that. What I think the problem was is we didn't build enough of a fan base.
Yeah, you didn't have
Um,
momentum when you started, so we can see it in the number of backers. You had 12 backers first day, which means you started like from zero, kind of, and then actually the curve is, having like 4 to 5 backers per day is actually something very reasonable. It's just normally you have some momentum at the beginning where you can have like, let's say, hopefully like 100 backers day one
right.
that you didn't have. Um, And I think also I think it's very important to have some example of games, to have some, content creator video and some stuff. I mean, because you ask people to give you their money.
Their livelihood.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a business. So that makes sense. So I think you guys learn quite a lot, and
Yeah, and I mean, technically, the first campaign, I know this isn't what everybody wants to hear, but we were hopeful. We weren't necessarily expecting a full fund. Um, we were doing it for a couple of reasons. We did it to gauge interest, and well, obviously to see if we could succeed as well. And then the main reason was, even if we didn't succeed, we were going to know that people were interested and that we were going to build a community based off of that interest. We actually got in touch with a few people, one person in particular who really championed us in the beginning and built our community essentially and walked us through building our Discord. And that's been a centerpiece for us, for our community since. And I mean, we couldn't be more appreciative of the people that have helped us up till now and that continue to help us. And we're trying to do our best to show that.
no, I think it's important to realize that there's nothing wrong in canceling a campaign. It's much better than to actually go through the campaign and not being able to deliver. So I think it's kind of a sign of maturity. It's if it was another business, that would be totally normal. Like, you try to fund a project, you end up understanding that there are some trouble with how you design the project. When you wait 1 year and you do it again, it's totally normal. So I think it's yeah, I think that's actually a good point. And what did you do? Like, now, so you launch a new one. We have a small draft here, but that's really just a draft. What do you do with this one that is very different? Except, I know you have the community, you have Discord, but like, how much more ready the game is, and how much more advanced the project is? What did you learn,
So
and how you use it?
so I think the question is, how have we progressed since
Yeah,
we
yeah,
pulled the first one?
yes.
We've taken, in my opinion, leaps and bounds. We've gotten test product
I
out to
agree.
people.
I have to say, I mean, I'm answering my own question, but I do have test decks.
Yeah,
I had
exactly.
nothing
So
before, and
yeah,
I can tell you, like, I work with a lot of creators. I don't feel confident in recommending or even pledging myself a game if, as a content creator, I can't at least see a video of the game being played, or playing with a sample deck. Because I know that's just so much work. It could be 5 years of work, like you said. So I think this was, and we will try to make some video where we play that uh, pretty soon. But I think that was a key point. Sorry, I cut you, but go ahead.
no, you're good. So yeah, we've been getting test product out to people. We've been doing events.
Yeah. Okay. So, like, yeah. So I think you really advanced both in, like, brand awareness, in terms of a game testing process, and also, like, overall, like, marketing venue with, like, Discord, and just uh, being known out there. My following question is like, a lot of people are worried that they pledge for Kickstarter and they receive nothing. Like, we saw some example recently. So you see, this is your first project, right? Like, you never delivered anything. Also, I would like to mention, I don't know where it's in Canadian dollar, but your target for this one, I don't know if you guys gonna change this, but it's only $16,000, which, between you and me, is more or less not that much. You can't do that much. I mean, if you have to pay some more artists, you have to pay for printing, you have to pay for some prototype to test some printers. It goes so fast. 16,000 is really not that much. So, I mean, that's just my opinion. What can you say to potential backer to kind of reconfort them that both you have some experience in this field and that you can actually deliver a product?
So Connor and I both are graphic designers. We spend all of our time designing and making products for other people. When it comes to doing this game, we want to make sure to provide the best quality product to our customers, as that is how we took all of our schooling for, is provide the best quality product at the best pricing. And so we've done a lot of research. We've done sample sets, sending out to different parts across the world. We've sent to Germany, we sent to Switzerland, we sent to Canada, we've sent all over the United States just to get the correct shipping pricing, just so we know the cost of shipping.
You know what? Let me dig into more precise, nasty question. So, how much do you need to finish this product? I'm not
Right,
talking
that's
about
the real
like
question.
because printing a booster box, that's something different because it costs, money to print. But like, how much does it cost to have everything ready to be sent to printer to print, like, let's say 10,000 boxes or whatever? Like, because you need money, and that's why you have this crowdfunding. So how much do you need to finish?
So I know our minimum print run right now, I think is what, like in total for everything we need roughly, Jacob, it's like what, like 30,000, something like that around there.
So when it comes to production for both the Kickstarter and as well as having stock on hand for further sales, we're around $23,000.
Mhm.
When it comes to our art, finishing all art for every single card, we are looking at around $7,500. So in combination, we're looking at about $30,000.
Right.
Yeah, because art is so expensive. So, like, how much did you invest already in this project?
Between the both of us for everything in terms of setting up the business, getting
Yeah.
all of the assets we currently have.
We've put in over $8,000 combined.
Because it's very important actually to show that you spend money, and it's not just asking people for money, and to show that you know that this is a business, that there is cost, and that you need income for that. So you invested already around 10,000, and I think this goal is kind of low. You need, from what I understand, maybe around 30,000 more. What is artistic inspiration like? What is the direction you want to go with your art, and where does this inspiration come from?
It stemmed from our original artist, Avoid Idol. When we found them, it was by complete coincidence. I I saw their page on Facebook. They had an ad. I thought, why not? Like these guys look like they're pretty legit, and we reached out to them, and I was like, hey, we're trying to build a card game, and we're looking to have X amount of cards done and this amount of time. Do you think this is something you would be willing to do? And if so, could we get some samples made? They were like, sure. So had I had made a drawing for the Divinity Shepherd, which was my favorite hand drawing at the time. And I was like, Jacob, do you mind if we send him this? And he was all for it. So we sent him that. When they gave us their interpretation of the character, it was a no-brainer. We asked for a couple more sets, and they gave us Indra and I think it was the Terra Titan.
Yes.
Yeah, and it, I mean, they drive the art for this game.
So, how would you describe the artistic style of this
I
world or of those cards?
I mean, the artistic style I would describe as almost anime-ish.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I guess it's the soul. It's
Yeah.
really the soul, to be honest with you, and that's why we had Avoid Idol incorporate it into the logo. The runes, the soul.
I want us to discuss the rule of the game. Like, how do we play this game? So I have the play mat here. But it's a pretty, I would not say too complex, but it's like it's not straightforward. It have a lot of very unique things. There is two different decks, but so like we see some tiny inspiration from Yu-Gi-Oh from there, but it's extremely unique. So could you explain like the main mechanism? We have the different type of cards here. You can tell me which one to show. Can you explain me how to play the game roughly? Like what's the main mechanism and how does it work?
We can go over some of the basic souls, token, and this perfect soul. We can explain these. So you get to choose 4 souls to be in your main deck, and right here we have 4 examples of the souls. So we have 2 of the smaller souls where they only have 1 quirk slot, which means they can only have 1 ability equipped to them to ascend, and is also their maximum. Then we have the medium and regular soul. Both of these are the middle-sized tier, and they both can hold only 2 quirk slots. So if you go back to the player mat real quick, it'd be easier to give a kind of a visual explanation. So they would go into either the first soul or the second soul slot. And if you notice, there are only 3 equipped slots wrapped around that. Those are the quirk slots.
Oh, I get it. Okay.
Those will be updated in the new map.
Yes. And so
Let me
the
try
small
some.
soul can only use 1 of those. The medium soul can use 2 of those. While the greater, and there's the other one, which is called the large soul, those are the biggest ones.
That requires.
Can I do that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So with the medium, you would need at minimum, or you would need 2 soul or quirks slots filled to be able to ascend it.
So the maximum number of quirks it can have is 2, and that is also the requirement for it to evolve.
So what are quirks? I think those are.
So
what
yes,
they
those are
mean?
our quirks right there. And so the quirks have a special ability that it grants. It gives stats, or it doesn't, depending on the type
I
of card.
see here. Yeah.
And then in the center, there is that number, either the 6 or the 8.
Mhm.
That is its evolution value, the amount of kind of power it provides.
I see.
And you need that power in order to ascend your soul into a entity.
So I guess can I do something like that, for example, and then.
Yeah. Yep.
And so it must. There is 2 slots. Okay, I get it. So it
Yeah.
would need to have 2 slots to ascend.
Correct.
Correct.
And what happens when it's ascend?
So when you ascend, you take the combined Evo val, or the number in that center slot. So you have the 6, and the 0.
Yeah.
That adds up to 12. So you have 12 points that you can hit the maximum for any of your existences. So if you go to page 10, if you look at Shadow Serpent, he has 11.
I see.
So for Shadow Serpent, you have enough on that, but you also have to make sure that in the top left corner, there's a symbol.
Mhm.
You have to make sure that one of your yellow cards has that symbol.
At least 1.
At least
Well, I
one.
don't have that, but
Correct.
For
So
those
you
who
wouldn't be
agree.
able to do
but
it.
let's cheat and let's just do
Yeah,
it for the sake of it. So
I like that.
Yes,
and
so
those would disappear.
Let's just say one of those is one of those. So with medium soul, which is what you have on the board, medium soul would go back into your existence deck.
Oh, I see. So the side. So you have 2 decks, right? You have the existence deck, where
And
you
the
have all
standard
your souls, kind of like your permanents, right? And you don't shuffle
Mhm.
it; you just search in it, kind of like the extra deck in Yu-Gi-Oh, I guess.
Yes.
So these go here, these go back,
And then those would normally both be discarded, but because the medium soul ability, it allows you to keep one of them.
oh yeah, transfer 1 quirk to another existence. It could go there though.
Yes, you can put it right there.
Well, I mean, let's do it here to make things simpler. Okay, and this is this card. All right.
Yes. And so by doing so, you now have a much stronger existence on the board. So if it was your very first soul that was ascended, that will unlock your second soul
Oh,
and give you your second crystal.
this one. I see.
Yes. So you start off with 1 crystal, 1 soul is how the game will start. Once you get your first entity, you have locked your second crystal and your second soul. Once you have 2 crystals, you can combine your 2 crystals on the following turn into a crystal cluster, which goes into the center. It takes the value of your 2 crystals' healths and combines them together.
So okay, you talk about crystal health.
Yes.
What does it mean?
So your crystal health is your player's health.
Okay.
So you start off with 1 player health at 10.
Okay.
Well, if you ascend and get your second crystal, now you have 2 player healths each at 10 unless one takes damage.
Mhm.
And in order for you to lose, you have to have 0 on all your crystals.
Okay.
And so attack paths are on the left side, you have your 2 tokens.
Yeah.
Those protect the medium soul.
Oh, I see. And token are those
Or
things.
the soul token, yes.
So okay, let me summarize a bit. So you start with 1 soul somewhere, with 1 crystal and 1 soul, and
First soul. Yep.
you can equip some quirk. You have three slots. I mean, depending on which soul you have. And once the number in the yellow is good enough, high enough to invoke a higher entity, you can upgrade it.
Mhm.
That's the main. And so this game is mainly, and then you unlock another soul, so you kind of level up your own realm, I guess. And then you have a second crystal, and you get a third crystal when what? How do you get the third crystal?
You get your third crystal by combining your first 2.
Oh, okay.
So crystal 1 and crystal 2 becomes crystal 3, which is a crystal cluster, and it's powerful enough to power the whole board. So
Okay.
each crystal powers one side of the board at a time, while the cluster powers the whole board. And when you get your cluster, you also get our final soul, which is the perfect soul.
Mm-hmm.
And as you can see right off the bat, he has a lot more health, a lot more armor, and a lot more strength than all the other ones.
I see.
It's very difficult to get to him though, so that's why.
But you would still keep your entities here. Or...
Yep, and the perfect soul will go in the middle.
Yeah. Right.
Yes.
And this is not. I see. And how do we get? I think I saw a crystal guardian or something like that. I think this guy is a crystal keeper. Or...
Draknor is a crystal guardian.
I see. Oh yeah, 40
And
years.
in order to get your crystal guardian, what you need is 2 entities and a perfect soul.
2 entities. Okay. And I guess it takes the slot of the perfect soul.
Yes, so he would take the slot of the perfect soul, and your entities would go back to the existence deck.
Yeah. Okay.
And the crystal guardian is like the most powerful creature you can possibly have in the game
So how do you win the game?
by destroying all your opponent's crystals.
So okay, so you still have to fight your opponent.
Yes.
So how do you battle your opponent?
Under attack phase, it is you declare who you're attacking, as long as it is open to be attacked.
So you attack the crystal or the soul?
So if you want to get to the crystal, if there's a soul in front of it, you have to attack the soul. If there is a token in front of that, you have to attack the token.
Oh, okay. So this is like kind of like different layer of defense.
Correct.
Alright, makes
Wall,
sense.
yeah.
So like so you start with this guy, then you have those 2 guys, and then you get this guy stronger, but you have this full line of defense plus this front line of defense. And,
Correct,
and
but-
those are just deck. I see.
But when it comes to protecting, for the left side, you have those 2 tokens there protect the soul. That soul protects the crystal.
Mhm.
But only those 3 will protect crystal 1. The same thing applies over at crystal 2. The 2 soul tokens on the right side protect that soul or entity, and that entity or soul protects that crystal over there. And then down the center, the 2 center token slots will protect the center guy, which meaning these 2 middle tokens have 2 paths of protection rather than those outside ones which only have 1 path of protection.
I see.
Yes.
Yeah,
and then the center guy protects your center crystal.
So that's okay. So it's very the place where you put card is very important.
It's like
Very
castling. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
castling in chess.
Yeah, all right. No, that's kind of cool. Okay, I get it.
So if you have 2 crystals, they have to go through 6 potential defenders to get to the crystal.
mm,
If you have 1 crystal, you only have 3 potential defenders to protect that crystal.
but it's supposed to
You
be
got a big
stronger,
boy.
so
You got a big
Yes.
boy though. Yeah.
How about those events? I see first event, second event. What does it mean?
So our events are our blue and red cards. They're called stabilizers and destabilizers. So our stabilizers are positives for yourself. Destabilizers are negative for your opponent. So in front of us we have the
There's defense and attack, kind of.
kind of like Magic and Trap if you looked at it in the Yu-Gi-Oh sense. So the stabilizer that we have here is Sanctuary. This is a permanent card, so it stays on the field.
Oh,
And this one allows you to regenerate 2 health or armor
I see.
every turn, your turn.
And
And then destabilization, you get to destroy 1 of your soul tokens and deal damage directly to your opponent's crystal.
so
Which,
yeah.
if they only have 1 crystal and you start chipping away at it, even though he has protectors, then you're kind of taking a lead or an advantage.
So this is your main interaction with your opponent. Right?
Yes, besides going into the attack. Or
Yeah,
engagement
yeah.
phase.
So like
Yes.
kind of like except the board game itself, attacking the board. If you want to, attack directly, I don't know, let's say card in the opponent hand or card in the side of the board, those are like those type, the blue and the red one, the stabilizer, destabilizer. Because I always been playing control decks. That's what I like, being annoying and not letting the opponent play. And so I don't like games where I can't just wait and I let the guy do whatever he wants and then I do my stuff. That's not interesting for me. Can you actually do a control deck and like?
Yes.
Is it?
I've actually done a control deck, haven't I, Connor?
Yeah, I don't like playing against Jacob.
Yeah. All right. That's.
I don't like playing against Jacob.
You should show me your control deck. No, but I think this is important because you need a certain variety in the type of strategy. I know some people don't like control deck, but if you have only aggro deck, a game is very boring. You need your aggro, you need your control, you need some kind of mid range combo. I mean, you need a certain variety. You don't want a variety of aggro. You want a variety of way to attack. A way to strategize. I feel. So you went to it's a very unique system.
Thank you.
So I mean, I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm saying it's very unique.
Hey, that's what we were going for. I like that. I like that word. I like unique. That's
Most of people typically, more or less tune a system, and most of game are either based on Magic or based on Yu-Gi-Oh, which are kind of the 2 main way, especially in terms of resource. Magic, you have your resource that are in your deck. Yu-Gi-Oh, your resource I don't know. I always feel Yu-Gi-Oh is kind of cheating and just putting all your cards in your hand and kind of comboing out. But those are the main 2 big grandfather of card games and everybody. Do you have experience in game design? Because this is not like creating card. This is like really like making sure your card is working.
So as a child, I would create games all the time, and I would play these games with family members, and I'd always refine the rules. I would make the game playable, and I'd always do. I probably created like 20 games using this stuff lying around the house.
All right.
Board games with stuff lying around the house, and I would handwrite every rule book for them, and we would play all the time. So when it comes to experience, yes, that's the experience of creating games that I had prior. I also played a plethora of board games and card games, and whatnot throughout my time because that's how I grew up, was just playing games. I played Magic. I
And you
played
guys
Yu-Gi-Oh.
both have a computer-based degree, so you are kind of used to the strict reality of algorithm and following a workflow and things like that. So
Correct.
I found like this is very helpful skill to have when you try to create a world, which is what you are doing, creating a world and rules to so that everything works well together. No, okay. No, but that's just challenging. So you are really taking the hard way in this field. But I think that's cool. I think that's the only way you can actually have something original. And so some quick question like how long does a game take in average? Like 20
How long does the
minutes?
game take in
Yeah.
average? So between two experienced players, a game can take as short as 5 minutes and as long as 15 minutes. Now,
50
if
or
we're talking
15?
about 15,
Okay, all right, so pretty quick. Yeah, but so like ideally, like if we do some tournament or whatever, like if we know how to play, that's between like 5 and 15 minutes for one game. And is it designed more for a best of one or best of three?
so I like doing best of three. That way you can get a couple games in. Some people like doing best of one just to say, look, I'm the best. We're done.
Well, the issue with best of three, especially because you have this side deck. I mean, this extra deck is like you can have more silver bullet and I guess you can get them out
Yeah,
more
so
easily. So it's tricky.
you have two decks in this game. One is your standard deck, which is the yellow cards, the blue cards, and the red cards. All three of those will go into your standard deck, while all of your white and purple cards will go into the existence deck. And so the existence deck is face up. Anyone can look at it at any time. And so you have a plethora of options you can go about it. So no game is exactly the same every game because you can draw so many different cards and you can build completely different decks out of this one deck.
Yeah.
Completely different games. It's very beneficial the way it is.
Yeah. No, yeah, okay. So, but 5 to 15, I think is really nice, especially for a game like that, and because that you can do a quick game. Do you have any plan for some like organized play? Like how do you market this game? Like, is it something more for competitive player or more like for casual player? Or?
Oh, it's definitely like strategic and competitive. I don't imagine this
Yeah, I
being
would
a
think so.
casual
Like,
game.
yeah,
No. I mean, the intricacies involved with this game, that was the whole point is
yeah.
with I mean, I can understand a lot of people marketing their games towards everybody, but when everybody's doing that, there's no level of of I don't want to throw shade on anybody. I think it's great that all these games are doing what they're doing, and some of them are complicated. But we wanted to be like a whole nother level of strategy in terms of we wanted to be like chess.
Yeah, no, that makes
Chess
sense.
is an incredible pastime game, and it's not going anywhere. And it's because people enjoy the amount of thought that goes into each move.
Yeah.
I mean,
No,
there's
that's good.
infinite possibilities with chess, and that's kind of where we wanted to be.
And so let's move on to this Kickstarter on the collectible aspect and the we finished the gameplay, we finished the art, we talked about the business part. Let's talk about the campaign itself and like what type of cards, like how rare they are and things like that. So how many cards are you planning to have in this set?
So with this original first set, we're looking at having about 150 cards available with a stretch goal to add additional 50 cards, bringing it to 200.
That's a lot of cards to add just with a stretch goal. Did you work on those 50 cards or like?
Yeah.
Okay,
Well, we've
it's
already
not, like,
worked
out
out
of your
those 50
pocket, right?
cards.
Here, I'm gonna get my box real quick.
Oh, cool.
We have 200 cards already set up, 150 for the first set, 50 for the stretch goal. And then we have another 50 cards in the works and another 50 cards planned out.
Well, I mean, I got a bunch of the older cards that we did. We've play tested
Hmm.
from the beginning. Like we
Yeah.
have been play testing cards before even creating art for them, because that,
Oh
from
yeah,
my
that makes
research,
sense.
that was the point, was you want the game to be functional. You want the game to be a game.
So yeah, so 150 cards, most likely 200, which I think is a good number. And that's what, like 150 here?
This is more like 100.
Yeah, that
cards
looks like that. Yeah.
that I have right here sitting next to me, and they're all different, unique cards.
And like, what type of what's the different rarity you have in the set, and like, what do you have in a booster pack? Like, I guess you have common, uncommon, rare.
Okay.
We have four
So
rarities.
Yep.
So we have four rarities. So right now, what you have shown is Carnivorous Appendage. If you see those two crystals on either side in the
Yeah.
center,
Yeah.
those are blue. Those are common.
Okay, common. Yeah.
Right there, that one is our hyper rare. So it kind of jumping over rare to hyper rare.
Mm-hmm.
So those are red crystals. Crystals broken. That is our final one, which is cataclysmic.
Okay, so you don't have uncommon. So you have common, rare, hyper rare, cataclysmic.
Yes.
And in a pack, so how many cards do you have in a pack?
A pack comes with 12 cards.
12 cards, and what's the distribution?
So the distribution is mostly common with a guaranteed rare. And then there's a chance on top of that to get a hyper rare or a cataclysmic. So hyper rare has a 1 in 3 pack chance, and a cataclysmic has a 1 in 18.
Okay.
We will also have one card of the pack. Every pack will have a full art card as well, non-hollow.
Oh.
So yeah, so the cataclysmic's going to get the rainbow sand holographic.
Okay.
Those are the most limited, and then the hyper rare will have the lava foil. We won't have full hollows. Our holographic will be selective hollows. And that's in the next
I
promo
have this
set.
one.
Those are the selective hollows.
And
Yes,
take it
those
out.
ones. I'm actually really
Yeah.
glad you pulled that one out. So on this last promo pack, we did play with the foiling to see what effects we could get. I tried on the Crystal Guardian, if you can see, the Crystal Keeper, I should say. Yeah, that one. He's got little sparkles in him. Those were intentional. I tried to see if I could get the hollow to show through on that.
It's actually pretty
Sure.
cool. Like you have lines that follow the mountain in the back,
Yep.
but the text have no foiling at all. The symbol
Correct.
have a foiling here. So the cataclysmic, are there also selective foiling?
Yes, so they had the sand foil.
So oh, okay.
Here, hold on.
So if here, you can catch the sand filter right there.
Oh.
So it's
I
got that
see.
rainbow and that sandish and the dotted sandish look to it.
Mm-hmm. How many boosters do you have in one box?
So a box comes in a case of 18 booster packs.
So typically you have one cataclysmic per box.
Mm-hmm.
Is that guaranteed?
I think that's guaranteed, yeah.
And how many cataclysmic do you have in the set?
15.
Oh my!
There's 15 in the first set.
Oh, so you will need. Oh, right. So the Kickstarter draft at the time of the recording was very different from the final page. So I decided to edit it and change it. So this is the one that's gonna be posted a couple of hours later, and this is the final one. So the target is 30,000 US. We saw in this interview that this is kind of what is needed for this project to really become real. And in terms of pledge, I want to review them and tell you what I recommend to get. So you can get any of the 4 starter deck. I would I would recommend to take at least 2 of them. I have this one, the Divine versus Unlit. It's pretty nice. I don't know about this one. This is really like the entry level. Then, especially for the early bird, and I believe it's the first 48 hours, but this I'm not sure. You can have a box for relatively cheap, $75. Remember, it's 18 pack per box. However, I think you can buy more box with add-ons, but then they become $85. So if you get more than one box, definitely, like somebody like me, I'm gonna get this 4 booster box at 300. It means each of them costs $75, and then you can add some of them for an extra $85. And there is this one, like if you want really everything, and also some very nice play mat. Remember, the mats are very important. They are supposed to be in the add-on. You can buy some playmats. I didn't see them posted yet, so maybe it's going to be unlocked later. But I would definitely recommend really get the $300 pledge for 4 boxes. You get 4 cataclysmic rare. It's a very nice entry point. Those boxes are going to be worth nothing later, because the thing is, first, the print is very limited. I'm not sure about the exact number, but I've heard something like 250 boxes to 300 boxes only. So having 4 of them is very precious. And also, even if there are more printed, let's be realistic, this game will not print thousands and thousands of boxes. So if you have one of them, it's going to be rare, and the game mechanism is interesting. So, I'm not saying this is something like the new Magic, or even like not a new MetaZoo or Cryptic, but it's going to remain as something that exists for a long time, and there will always be a certain demand. So really, I recommend you get this. Ideally 6 boxes. I like 6 boxes. Depending on your phone, you can go for that, but you can also get 4 boxes and get 2 add-ons. Or maybe you can get 2 of those pledge and get 8 boxes. But then you have to kind of, it's a bit dirty line, you have to make 2 accounts. And then for retail, there is this one. In terms of shipping, they put some prices. This can be, this is going to be done, I believe, later during the backer kit part, the pledge manager part. You have those rule book, right? So the early bird is only for 1 box. I think just get those 4 boxes really quick, because the number of print is very small and not confirmed yet, and it would be sad to miss out. And and there are some videos there. That's all for the description. I strongly recommend you get this. I will even go to 6 boxes, so you get this plus 2 add-ons. And I'm waiting to see the price of the add-ons. I guess we will all find at the same time. So
Okay, well, I got like some 3D engraved stuff that I've been working on.
So we have these 3 promo cards in the giveaway, and that, yes, what he has shown there.
But let's do those 2 if you're okay. And let's so to decide the winner, let's do what? Let's wait like 1 week and look at all the comments. So you have to comment. You have to be a subscriber. You have to be on both my Discord and the Discord of Omni, and you will see in the description the link. And after 1 week, we're going to decide on 2 winners, and we're going to announce it on both our Discord. Sounds pretty nice. Thanks, Connor. Thanks, Jacob. But I hope you guys are excited. I think this is a game that I like in terms of the design. We need to see more arts, I guess, to see the artistic part. But I think it's a bold project, a bold, unique project. And just for that, just for the sake of it, I'm completely behind it, because even if it doesn't sell millions of boxes, at the end of the day, that will be something unique, and that will be a testament of creativity, and that's something we have to respect and to push forward. So,
Thank you.
thanks for your work, guys, and thanks, guys, for watching. Bye.
Thank you.